What's happening, everybody? I'm back. It's me, your resident supervillain, Mr. J. Washington. I'm here with my review for Season 3, Episode 6 of Black Lightning on the CW. And if you have not seen this episode yet, you should already know to come on back because there will be spoilers. Sorry for it being so long for me getting the review up. Things have been busy as usual in a great way. I got a chance to do some amazing things, so it put the schedule a little bit behind, and I apologize for that. But let's get right into it. The episode kicks off with Tavon's funeral, and the results of the previous episode, and we see Jefferson's face is beat up and battered from his incident with the ASA, and of course him, Lynn, and Anissa have this whole, have a battle of sorts as to what to do. Why did this happen? What should they do going forward? And Jefferson is placing the blame on himself, where at a point Anissa places the blame, and then you have Lynn who's like, yo, what do we do? And all of this happens, and at the point as the funeral ends, you have Jamila, who is doing her job, she feels, as a reporter now. She's a freelance journalist. She is trying to get the inside scoop of things that are happening within Freeland that everybody doesn't know about. But I feel like I get you would see a lot of reporters doing that. And that's hella disrespectful. I've seen that happen at many funerals, unfortunately, where you've had people with cameras, reporters, and whatnot feel like they need to get a word, feel like they need to get a sound bite or a quote real quick from someone who was close to the victim. And you see the anger building up in Anissa, which is crazy because only Anissa and Jamila know about the thing that Anissa and Jamila had. Now, granted, it was only a little quick fling, but no one else knows. And so you see Anissa jumping forward like, yo, would you go? Jefferson is trying to ignore, then he finally gives a quote about everything. There's a part we see that when we see Jennifer goes into Brandon's home. Now, I was watching this episode, and I was like, yo, how did she find out where Brandon lives? Here's the beautiful thing about this. I got a chance to watch this episode with the writer of the episode, Lamont McGee, who was one of my great friends, as well as director Jeff BLERD, who is a phenomenal director. And you find out a lot of things behind the scenes, and by that I mean things that that hit the cutting room floor. So there is a scene for those who are trying to wonder, why did we not see how Jennifer found out Brandon's address? There is a scene that hit the cutting room floor that we didn't see that. But when we get to Jennifer going to Brandon's house, we see a whole bunch of precious gems, diamonds, and whatnot, gold. And basically, Brandon confronts her, she attacks him, he absorbs her ability again, and he tells her what he can do. Now, if you remember in the last episode, in the last review, I asked you all in the comments to leave, who do you think Brandon was? Overwhelmingly, you all were wrong. And I say that because overwhelmingly, everybody was like, yo, he's static shock. No. Nobody came close to thinking who he was because he had been switched up for the show so you wouldn't know. Now, if you are a comic book fan, I believe most of you all can recognize who he is through his abilities. He is Geoforce. Now, I know you're like, wait, what? Yes, in the comics, Geoforce is a white character, so they made him black for the show. I don't know how that'll all play out because, yes, Brandon is looking for Dr. Jace because she killed his mom, but also in the comics, Geoforce is Markovian and part of the royal family along with his sister Tara. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays forward. Speaking of Dr. Jace, we find out later on in the episode that she is actually still alive with the Markovians, and they're trying to figure out how to stabilize their metas, and of course they want to end up kidnapping Dr. Stewart. With the Markovians and the Markovian general, we get a glimpse back at Instant, the black teleporter. If you remember through my recaps that I was doing with Ashley Robinson, I call him Black Nightcrawler. But he's known as Instant, and I will say this. The brother who plays Instant, Tosin, he's a super cool dude. He was with us watching the episode. So it was amazing to get all these perspectives from everybody. I wish I had a chance to get some things to talk about and, record for you all. But, it was one of those settings where I'm like, I'm not working. We all chilling. Everybody's enjoying this moment, celebrating all three of these brothers. One brother who has his guest star, another brother who wrote the episode, and one who directed it. So that was not a time for worrying about work. It was a time for just celebrating and enjoying each other and being social, which I don't get a chance to do that often. Also, Anissa is feeling the effects of the ass whooping she took from Painkiller, as well as the poison and how it is spreading through her. And Gambi telling her how if he doesn't find a cure, she'll be dead, and if it wasn't for her meta ability, she'd be gone. But also, in the beginning of the episode, she was recording her goodbye video. She was recording because she knew she was dying. And at one point, while she's at home by herself, Jefferson comes to apologize for the situation with Tavon, and Anissa takes the blame upon herself. And after Jefferson leaves, she passes out. Grace eventually finds her, calls Gambi, checks about the poison. Now, one of the interesting things you find out later is that Gambi was like, I know this poison. I've seen it before. It's Khalil's. So he goes to Khalil's grave, scans the grave, and finds out Khalil's grave is empty. Also, Lynn is leaving the house because of her back and forth with Jefferson. The green light has taken a hold in a different way. She's an addict. I told y'all before, she popping them joints like Tic Tacs. I think this episode itself was trying to be easier to follow as opposed to some of the other episodes, because in the other episodes there's so much going on, and again you have the Markovian situation, the occupation in Freeland in the back of all of the fans' minds, myself included, is what happens heading into this crossover with this big crisis thing. Now, we've seen a lot of the teasers that have been dropping, and it puts Black Lightning in a not background stance, which I'm cool with. I kind of know a little, I don't know a lot, but I do know for some of the people who are in the comments saying that Black Lightning is going to take a back role in this crossover. That is absolutely not true. Remember, he has been doing this as a superhero longer than all of them. Even though in his world, The Flash, Green Arrow, Batman, and so on and so forth are legends of lore because of comic books. But when he finds out they're real. So he's been a hero for the longest. But, nonetheless, also Agent Odell got shot up. And I think we get some of the greatest lines in this episode. There's so much I forgot to tell us about, too. We get some of the greatest lines in this episode. When you find out that Henderson has recruited Jamila to join the insurgents, and it was certain things he was talking about, and to see Reverend Holt's character go, you could have led off with that, brother. That's how you do that. That and the interaction with Tobias and Lynn. How, look, Tobias is like, yo, I know who your husband is. I know who your family is. Stop trying to act dumb. Like, I know this, and I have connections on the outside. And Lynn's like, you in the pit. You in the deepest, darkest hole. How do you know about anything? And then he starts telling her events that just happened. So that spooks her. Because, of course, just as much as Jefferson thinks he's doing what he does to protect his kids, Lynn believes she's doing what she's doing to not only protect the Pod kids, but her kids and her family as a whole. And for him to blackmail her and be like, yo, I want all this information on all the metas, all their abilities. And it was interesting that one of the dossiers we saw pulled up that they made sure to show us was that of Wendy. Wendy has been a main one. We keep seeing her back and forth. She's dropped in and dropped out. Again, the outsiders have been not referenced, but they've been utilized. You see different members and different things about the outsiders happening throughout this show. So when the collective happens, I don't know if this will be right after the crossover and whatnot. It's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. But also in that line, in that scene, you got Tobias calling Black Lightning. First he called him Ghetto Glowworm, which I said there was no line that was going to top that this season. Well, he called him the Neon Negro, and I cried. And then you have Agent Odell calling Black Lightning pathetic. Like, it is because he wouldn't kill. Because Agent Odell will kill. Black Lightning's like, yo, I don't have to kill people. I can stop them. I won't kill. I think a lot of what's happening, like I said, this episode is a little bit easier to follow. I still think there's so much going on. But the thing is, this entire show has built up so many stories. It has built up so many different arcs that the arcs are overlapping to the point like a rainbow minus the colors, if you get what I'm saying. You got the arc of Black Lightning. You got the arc of Jennifer, a.k.a. Lightning. You got the arc of Anissa, a.k.a. Thunder. You got the arc of Anissa, a.k.a. Blackbird. You got Anissa and Grace. You've got Gambi and the ASA, Gambi and Jefferson, Lynn and the ASA, Lynn and Jefferson, Agent Odell and everything, Tobias and everybody. All these different arcs, but they're overlapping to hopefully reach the end goal of one story. But I don't know if it's going to be clear. Now, one of the things that has concerned me a lot with the show is the decline in the ratings. I will be the first to admit it. As a fan, as a family member to the show, as which I've been called, and I've been honored to have that title, the ratings have declined. Now, I personally think that moving the day of the show did not help. Moving it to Monday was not the best idea. I believe originally when it was following The Flash, to have The Flash, which is one of the best shows on the CW in the Arrowverse, to be the lead into Black Lightning was perfect. Mondays doesn't help. I'm sorry, Mondays just don't help. But hopefully we can see what happens. I think this is going to go season 4 for sure. They're getting to season 4. My biggest thing is I know that we're not supposed to, and by we I mean the black community, because we always clamor for our own heroes, our own characters, our own stories. Black Lightning gives us that. That should be enough, right? Wrong. Everything has to work. People have to want to tune into this and watch this and be involved in it. And again, as somebody who loves the show, who loves the creators, the writing team, the cast, and who's friends with them legitimately, I want this to succeed, but I want this product to be good as well. I will not sit there and say, yo, I'm just going to accept every single thing that comes out because of what it is. Now, there are a couple episodes back when I was doing reviews with Ashley, people were like, yo, how did you give it this high of a mark when it was this? Well, it's because I believed in it and I saw it was going and I got the payoff. This season, a lot of things have gone different ways. And I'm hoping to see the payoff, which is why I gave you guys the rainbow analogy with the arcs. I'm just hoping for the best for it, all right? But I want to know what you think in the comments below. So like, subscribe, click on the notification bell. Are you rocking with the show still? Have you given up on it? Are you trying to hold up hope till the end and everything picks itself up? Let me know what you think, all right? Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Mr. J Washington. That's MRJAY. You should know how to spell Washington, okay? Join my Supervillain Squad on Patreon, patreon.com/Mr. J Washington. Check out the Mad Titan podcast as well. I get you caught up on everything that's happening in the Marvel and DC live action and cinematic universes. It is barbershop talk for nerds, so come on in the convo, all right? I will holler at y'all later. I'm going to be putting up more of the interviews that I did from the set. I'm going to continue to get it. The interviews with Marvin Crondon Jones, the third who plays Tobias, as well as Cress Williams, who plays Black Lightning himself. So make sure you check those out, all right? Holler at y'all later. I'm out. Peace.